Tom and Jack for Cultaholic.com. Jack, you having a lovely day?
Hello, I'm having a lovely day, thank you. I've let myself go, Tom. I've let myself go. What can I say?
Did you get the bus? Did you get the bus in this morning?
Yeah, I had a raging insert thing there that will not get us demonetized. I can't say it this early in the morning. My mother would be appalled.
Oh, Jack, what are you like? Here is some wrestling news. Are more WWE cuts coming this week? We'll talk about it. The NXT TakeOver In Your House main event has been revealed. And Mark Henry has been telling us why he left WWE. We'll get to that in a bit. There has been so much of this over the last 4 weeks, both in the ring and outside the ring. There's been some massive sweeping changes to WWE's business model. We've seen releases, furloughs, cuts, and complete departments dissolved. It doesn't look like that process is coming to an end anytime soon, does it, Ross?
No, Fightful Select are reporting their plans for more cost-cutting are happening possibly this week, and some major names, Tom, are on the list. And considering your boys Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins are no longer there, what kind of major are we speaking about here?
Now, this is the thing. Now, none of these names have gotten out as of time of recording. Normally, when they do releases, they're normally midweek and around lunchtime American time, so about 5 o'clock tea time here in the UK. So we may get some answers in terms of who those are a bit later on today. And it might not necessarily be... I mean, the obvious thing is to think, okay, who are some of those top lads who maybe got gone from the roster? What we've seen a lot of, and we'll talk about this in a second, is some big restructuring behind the scenes in WWE HQ. So those major names could be key players behind the scenes that they're swapping out for new talent from other places, you know?
One thing I've seen with from a lot of people on Twitter who have a suit in their profile picture, therefore they know what they're talking about, is that WWE appear to be streamlining every single department under their watch in preparation for maybe Vince McMahon selling the entire company, which seems unfathomable to Jack the Jobber here. But could that be happening, Tom?
I've thought about this for a while, and all the things that WWE are doing right now are the sort of things that a company would do whilst getting ready to sell. They are essentially dusting the vases ahead of this car boot sale. That's kind of what's going on here. It doesn't shock me at all either that Nick Khan has been brought in. And this is, we'll go down, we'll pull on this thread and see where we go. Nick Khan, I do believe, has been brought in because he's got these great connections within media companies around the world right now. But I think he's a great guy who can make those connections and sell the company. Look, I think Vince is ready for out. Vince wants to go and chill now. He's done all he wants to do. He's had a lovely time. He wants to, just sit on his weirdly named yacht for the rest of his days and give the WWE to somebody else. I'm going to put this out there, Ross. I'd like to know who you think could potentially buy the company. And my gut instinct is
Mike Ashley.
Yes. The Sports Direct Wrestling Entertainment Company. What are your thoughts on Disney buying it?
I mean, it does sort of make sense, doesn't it, Tom, that WWE they are the Disney of wrestling, if you want so. And I guess the way that things are sort of going, you could see, imagine the network going to Disney Plus and all that kind of stuff that could happen. Disney World Wrestling Entertainment World in Orlando, Florida. I'm all for it.
I'm 100% for it. It would make Santina Morella a Disney princess. But I think Disney's got to be in there in terms of a major company. Obviously, the stuff with NBC as well. We've already got it on Peacock, so NBC's another company that could potentially buy it off. We've seen Amazon buy MGM in the last 7 days. Metro Goldwyn Mayer now owned by Amazon, the Amazon Wrestling Federation. It sounds facetious and farcical, but it's not out of the realms of possibility in this day and age. It really isn't.
It is still weird to see WWE in the midst of, the global pandemic, yet still making record profits and more money with zombies and whatnot. Cost-cutting measures. It still doesn't sit easy with me, that one, Tom.
We'll get into what the in-ring roster's up to in just a moment. Let's jump into this, actually. Talking of behind the scenes at WWE, it was announced last night that Jamie Horowitz has joined as an EVP for Development and Digital, along with Samira Shah, who's been hired as WWE's General Counsel and Corporate Secretary, and Matt Drew has joined WWE as a Senior VP for International. So what does all that mean? So Horowitz was previously the EVP of Global Content at DAZN. He's coming in to oversee a lot of WWE's brand new original scripted and unscripted programs for digital and social media. He's also taking over responsibility for WWE Studios. So we may get Rumble next year. Fingers crossed. Shah was formerly the General Counsel, Corporate Secretary for Moda Operandi. She'll oversee WWE's legal affairs. She'll be the principal legal advisor for the company. And the other name there, Matt Drew, he's charged with growing WWE's brand and business outside of the US. We've seen some big changes to the international offices within WWE. I thought that we were going to see Nick Khan overseeing everything from international, but he's obviously brought somebody in to kind of report to him. We're going to see more, I think, over the next couple of weeks of these changes to roles, because this has been, whilst they're not names that jump out in the ring and wrestle in front of us, there's been some really sort of seismic changes to WWE HQ lately, hasn't there, Ross?
They seem to be getting big and fancy, don't they, Tom?
Big and fancy.
The really thick boy way of just saying they're getting really fancy by getting all these people in to expand their business in many sort of different areas. That's the sort of way it looks like it's going, doesn't it? We're less caring about the wrestling now. We're just creating the content, and we're going to find as many media partners, as many sort of avenues to go down to make as much money as possible off this content we see inside of a squared circle that sort of looks like wrestling, but is it really wrestling? Is Raw really wrestling?
Yeah, it's Raw really wrestling? Is Domino's Pizza really Italian? It's that sort of thing. Yeah. But in terms of the wrestling, it is being taken care of because, you know, it's still your main product, so to an extent you've got to look after them. PW Insider are reporting that all the talent within WWE, from the very top of the card right down to the bottom, are being told that they will be expected to attend extra training sessions at the Performance Center over the next couple of weeks to take part in workouts, to get their in-ring work back sharp and up and running. This is good. They go back on the road in July. They want to make sure everybody's in peak condition. I'm not surprised they're doing this, actually, Ross, because a lot of these guys have been wrestling maybe once a week at most for the past 12 months.
I don't know how the human body works in terms of professional wrestling, but we all hear about wrestlers' bodies just getting calloused and used to the bumping and the bumping and the bumping night after night after night. So maybe if you've got a whole year with just bumping once a night or twice a night, if you do a bit of training, because I see Liv Morgan and Natalia and people like that, they've got their own rings somewhere and they're all doing training. Ilana's there as well. They do training and do all sorts of things. So maybe the body, does it uncallus itself? Therefore, you have to recallus it. I have no idea how wrestling works.
Recalcification, I think.
I'm an idiot in a hat. But yeah, July the 16th is when we go back on the road to Houston, Texas, at the Toyota Center for a SmackDown.
And NXT, talking of bumps, plenty of bumps, not much callousing going on in the main event of In Your House, which was announced last night, wasn't it, Ross / Jack?
I'm cross. I'm carrying cross. I'm cross. I'm carrying cross. I'm cross. May he rot in hell still for doing what he did to this fine office last week. May he rot in hell. Yes.
He's a horrible person, but that is a banger of a jingle.
It is. It's a shame it could have happened to a worse guy. Anyway, Karrion Kross will defend his NXT Championship against Kyle O'Reilly, Peter Dunne, Johnny Gargano, and Adam Cole in a fatal 5-way match, Tom, in a house.
inside an actual
Noel
house.
Edmonds may or may not be there.
Oh, that'd be a dream. Make it Mr. Blobby for a 6th. That'd be stunning work. Yeah, so Cole returned last night on NXT, clattering everybody in sight with a steel chair, namely Pete Dunne, Gargano, and O'Reilly. Later on in the night, great little promo back and forth between Adam Cole and Karrion Kross that leads to Kross saying, you know what? I'll fight everybody in that match and you. I'll get everybody into it. I think that's going to be a belter June 13th. 5 men all hitting big moves for the NXT title. Nice work, that.
Now, it's not going to happen, Tom, because it's involving Johnny Gargano and it's involving Adam Cole, but could you imagine if Karrion Kross just decimated everybody to retain? What a statement that would be, Tom. What a statement.
I thought you were going to say it won't happen because it involves Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano. Imagine a whole match with no overly long near-fall sequences.
That's exactly what I was hitting at.
Just get it done dead quick. Happy days. Want to give a little bit of love very quickly to NWA, their pay-per-view When Our Shadows Fall lands on Sunday via Fight. They announced the entire card last night for it. We'll blast through this. JTG and Fred Rosser both making first appearances for NWA Power on that soundstage. We'll see NWA TV champion The Pope taking on Tyrus in a non-title match. Other marquee matches in there include Thunder Rosa teaming with Melina, formerly of WWE, to take on Taryn Terrell, a former ECW general manager. lest we forget. And returning to the wrestling world and making her NWA debut, Kylie Ray in there as well. Lovely little tag match. Serena Deeb, fresh off beating Riho at the buy-in for Double or Nothing, faces Camille for the world title.
Now, Tom, I think Jack spoke about this match on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. Am I right in saying that it's a loser must stay in NWA match?
I don't actually know that much, but I would assume it wouldn't surprise me because I know there's been a lot of back and forth with it.
Jack was just saying it was just funny that normally, of course, it's loser leaves town. We can get out of this hellhole, but no, if you lose, you must stay and work more for NWA.
We have changed the locks to the doors. Only one will get a key out. Oh, I hope they both stay though, because I like them both. And in the main event, Nick Aldis is defending the NWA World Heavyweight title against Trevor Murdoch. And if you want to hear more from Trevor, he's on Desert Island Graps later on today, chatting to the big boy Trev. Do you know he got? There's been some great road stories from him, and there was one that may have been lost in the annals of time. But he goes into great detail about getting arrested in Ireland.
He would never get arrested anywhere, Trevor Murdoch. No, he wouldn't.
He did. There's an amazing road story that he shares with us on this, as well as picking 3 beautiful wrestling matches to watch on a desert island. So that's NWA pay-per-view this Sunday on Fight. You can watch it on Virgin in the UK as well. Final, Lamar, let's talk about Mark Henry and his shocking arrival in AEW. He's been chatting about why and Vince McMahon's reaction to it, hasn't he, Ross/Jack?
He has. Tom, my deal was up, he said. It's not something that was recent. I can go back 5 or 6 months, and I wanted a position in the WWE office. I talked to Vince McMahon, and he said, write it up. You're somebody I'll listen to. Caught my voice box off guard, that one did. I was told there was a lot of cleaning house and cuts that were happening, and there was a lot to come. I had seen hundreds in the company go. I felt valuable enough that I wasn't going anywhere. When your deal comes up and the rights come up as to where you're going to go next, I wanted to do more. I always want to do more, and if I can get the opportunity, I have to look for the opportunity somewhere else. Vince's reaction, it wasn't a negative one, he says, Tom.
He wasn't, no. He says, Vince and I have a love for each other. More than love, respect. Me calling him and saying to him what I need to be said came from a place of a brother telling his older brother, I'm tired of being in the shadows. I feel like someone beneath you is holding me back. And if someone's holding me back, I have to go. So Mark Henry then goes on to say, I feel like I was being held back and not getting what I want. I want to be successful and earn more. Vince said, you know everything you need to know. If you feel like you need to go, I don't necessarily want it, but if you need to go, then go. I know you'll be successful. Mark Henry wanted an office job and he waited long enough. He didn't get one and he went, Tony wants me over there, so I'll go over there.
Fair play. I mean, what are you going to do? Just sit there and do nothing? Exactly.
I lots of love for Mark Henry, colour analyst for Rampage very soon, not the wrestler, and a coach behind the scenes. What a great guy who transitioned into wrestling to offer so much. He'll offer so much to people behind the scenes as well. I think that's a great get for AEW, Mark Henry.
Imagine that class that he and only he can put on, where it's like, creative have nothing for you for 10 whole years. How do you wait it out?
how to make chicken salad out of chicken. Anytime anybody comes up to him and says, I'm not very happy with the story they've got me doing, Mark can just put up a PowerPoint presentation of him kissing Mae Young, his hand son, and just go, any questions?
It'll all get better from here.
Stay safe. Love you. Bye.